You got to repent, man, because you're going down. Listen, you're going down for bearing false witness. And the bearing false witness emphasizes this, that even in a place of truth, they standing on the lie. Even after the lie has been exposed, they standing on it.
It is written, Jesus spoken, we must be born again. Born again, we must be born again. Born again. Born again, we must be born again. Born again.
Let me show you something else here. They want to break the communal integrity. Bearing false witness includes spoken lies, written falsehoods, selective omissions, insinuations, and manipulated narratives intended to mislead. It's all to break the communal integrity. It's all to stop brothers and sisters from talking. Some people left groups and they were excommunicado from the group. And when the people leave the group and find out what the person that was excommunicado, that was excommunicated, that what they said was true, they still have some type of stain. They still have some type of attitude. They still have a grudge. They still looking at them with disdain because their heart is still poisoned with the slander. It's sad that in a place of truth and people saying they have the Bible, people are supposed to be, people lie in the world, but people lying in the Bible because they're not converted. It includes spoken lies, written falsehoods, selective omissions, insinuations, manipulated narratives intended to mislead. Bearing false witness is the willful violation of truth for personal advantage, emotional revenge, social leverage, or ideological control by misrepresenting facts, motives, and character. And many people, their only control is emotional revenge. They use people. They play on people's emotions by lying in order to injure the person who they target in character. It took years for David to get back to the position where he could do what he was intended to do because of lies. And when somebody bears false witness, the intent is to spoil your soul. It's to quench your spirit. It's to cause you to be overcome with them, the despising people that are good. And men that have not served, men that are not about their people, men that did not labor in the vineyard, when they see the efforts and the honor coming to somebody who labors in the vineyard, what they do, they covet it. And what do they use? They bear false witness. And I want to show you something. I'm going to show you. It is spoken lies, written falsehoods, selective omissions, insinuations. So they'll write lies, they'll text lies. What they'll do, they'll use, they said this, but they didn't say that. They'll selectively omit. They'll act like they were personal with somebody else. How many times have y'all met in within the past 5 years? Oh, one time. Did y'all speak every week on the phone? No. So how are you talking about you a character witness? You can only discuss the events that transpired between the two of you. Stop acting like you know somebody. Bearing false witness includes spoken lies, written falsehoods, selective omissions, insinuations, and manipulated narratives intended to mislead. Bearing false witness is the willful violation of truth. So Israelites, no righteous person supposed to be involved in this. But there's people that's around you that will try to push you because you have affection for them to lie for them. That's why the Lord said, thou shalt not. Even if you feel like doing it, thou shalt not bear false witness. Then it says, and manipulated narratives intended to mislead. Bearing false witness is the willful violation of truth for personal advantage, emotional revenge, social leverage, or ideological control by misrepresenting facts, motives, or character. Bearing false witness is the crime of turning the tongue into a weapon and the mind and the mind into a forge of deception. It is an act of crafting lies with intention, releasing the lie with precision, and watching them wound without remorse. So when somebody's bearing false witness, look at what they're doing. Inspiring for this is beautiful. What they're doing, they're crafting lies. The scripture said they bend their tongue like a bow for lies, and they will not speak the truth. So what they're doing, they're crafting lies with intention. I'm going to say this. Watch out for these men that try to talk to your wives without you. They try to start secret relationships with your wives. Yeah. Because they'll be impressioning your wives to send them money. Watch out, man. Watch out for these men that try to love bomb. Watch out. I've been through it all. I've been through it. They try to set up secret emotional relations with your wives. Yeah. They try to pull a Susanna move on your wife. Listen, there's a lot of wicked men hanging out amongst or assembling themselves among sheep. Facts. Bearing false witness is not just simply lying, brothers and sisters. It's they crafting the lie with the intention and releasing them with precision and watching them wound without remorse, end relationships, scatter sheep, and break community. It is not merely speaking what's untrue. It is engineered falsehood to destroy truth, to alter people's sense of reality. It is a form of sorcery. See, it is engineered falsehood. Done to do what? To destroy people's sense about truth. Now your tongue is a weapon. Okay. Now it's all deception. Now they said that in precision. They look at how many people, this person, that person, they don't talk no more because of what? Because of bearing false witness. It is such a perpetual destructive weapon that when it is used, rewrites reality. Most people, when they lie to, they don't recover. Most people, when they're lied to by somebody that they trusted to be a credible source, they do not recover. They don't recover the feelings. They don't recover the affection. They don't recover the community. They don't recover the sense of trust, because that's how poisonous lies is. That's why you liars are all children of the devil. Yeah. In order for people to come together with love and care and trust, and the wolves are sitting back angry that brothers are loving each other and answering each other's questions and being honest and being transparent. And there's a lot of evil men, when they see people moving in the spirit of faith and family and enlightenment and honesty, they get angry about it. And then false witnesses will rise up and lay to your charge things that I knew not. Now they're going to switch the conversation away from community and make it about them. It ain't about you. No, it's not about you. This is about what think ye about Christ and us working in his vineyard and us by love serving one another. That's what this is about. This is about our gathering together unto him. And a lot of men want to keep the focus on them, and they're the credible source. False witness is such a perpetual destructive weapon that when it is used, it rewrites reality. That person's troublesome. You know why? Because they're not a yes man. Because they don't kowtow. Because they ask questions. Because they're not mentally docile. Because they're not a man worshiper. Because they don't brown nose. That brother's a problem. And you want to know what's sad? Most men are yes men. You want to know what's sad? Most men are not critical examiners. Most men will not obey the commandment to make diligent inquisition before they come to a judgment. That's most men, because they're walking in the lust of their flesh, which is sin. Bearing false witness is such a perpetual destructive weapon that when it is used, it rewrites reality, it pollutes memory, it corrupts perception, and poisons reputation. It is a character assassination dressed with a conversation. It is spiritual arson committed with syllables. Well said. Excellent. It's a character assassination, but they act like they're talking to you. I'm downtown. A guy walks up to me and said, "Yo, how you doing, man?" I said, "How you doing, brother?" He said, "Do you know that in the Bible it speaks about the godmother?" I said, "What?" He said, "Yes, in the Bible. The verse, there's a godmother. There's a mother god in the Bible." I said, "Brother, show me the chapter and verse, man." I said, you sure you're not reading it wrong?" I said, "Give me the chapter and verse." He said, "Let us make man in our image and our likeness." He said, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Let me go to a different version. I said, "Man, what are you talking about? Look at how you're perverting the scriptures." And since he couldn't answer, we know what he did. He walked away angry. Since I didn't accept his lie as a point of authority, since he's bearing false witness against Christ and coming to me as if this is enlightenment, as if this is glory, as if this is revelation, and people are falling for it. They're stealing Christ's word and using it for their own lust for power. Bearing false witness is such a perpetual destructive weapon that when it is used, it rewrites reality, meaning friends will suddenly fight one another like enemies because of a lie. It won't bring the people together to address the issue and be reconciled. A liar, when these men that bear false witness, their intent is to scatter the sheep. Their intent is not Deuteronomy 19 to make diligent inquisition. Their intent is not Matthew 18. Their intent is not Matthew 5, where there's an ought. People should be reconciled one to another. That is not their intent. Their intent is to destroy the communal integrity because they're enemies to the communal integrity. You need to know. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You got to be careful. There's something else I wanted to find here that I have here. 1 minute. Let me see. Inspiring, can I give you this right here? So they'll quote somebody out of context and act like they're having a conversation, and they're not really having a conversation. What they're really doing, what they're really, really, really doing, I'm going to put it right here, is poisoning you. So thou shalt not bear false witness, meaning make sure what you said is the truth. That's Satan's ultimate weapon. When they could not overcome Jesus Christ and his words, what did they do? They set up false witnesses to put him to death. They started using what false witnesses and saying, said ye not that this man is a Samaritan. That's the move that they use. They pull out the full weapon of words to alter people's perception against the person that they target, because they don't want people being righteous. Let me see this here. And Inspiring Faith, I need to come back over here in a minute. So they'll quote you out of context. They act like they're having a conversation, but they're quoting the person out of context. And why is it important, brothers and sisters? Why you pick this class tonight? Because the Lord had me looking at why aren't the assemblies of the righteous growing? It's because of people bearing false witness. Yeah. It's because people who call themselves saints or people who say they're righteous, they're not dealing with diligent inquisition. They're not dealing with equal proceeding. They're being impressioned and they're being deceived by men that are perpetual liars. When someone is quoted, context to me, when they quote them out of context, said we not, look, right here we're going to see on the screen. On the screen it says this, and one false witness said this, and at last came two false witnesses and said, this fellow said, I am able to destroy the temple of God and build it in 3 days. Okay, why did he say that? Because he knew the people had a love for the temple. So if this man said that, we are enemy of him because he's the enemy of our temple. So they'll deliberately misquote somebody in order to alter the people's feelings towards that person. You see, are you seeing this? Look at what the false witness said. And the false witnesses and said, this fellow said, I am able to destroy the temple and to build it in 3 days. So why did they pick that lie? Why was that lie spoken with such precision? Why was it released like that? Because they knew that people love the temple. And if you say this man is an enemy of the temple, then automatically he's your enemy. If you say this man is against the brotherhood, then all of a sudden the person's feelings switch. Then we against him too. This man is against the saints. Then the people say, well, we against him. It's to create the us versus them. It's to create mental passivity. It's to make people katow. When the lie is forged like this, why did they say that? Why did they lie like that? With that type of precision, with that type of craft, with that type of intent, why did they lie like that? And I'm going to say this honestly, to deal with my sheepish ways. I never looked at it this deep, man. You lied, man. I'm not paying you no attention. I know the truth. But the lie was not to affect the target. The lie was to affect the people that the target was intended on serving. The lie was to affect the next season in their life where people would have got together for them to do great exploits for the Lord. See, the lie is to affect people that would be communal with you, that would aid you, and that would move on to do exploits in the Lord. The lie is to attack your help. The lie is to affect your supporters. The lie is to create discord and brotherhood. And brothers and sisters, sad to say, it works. It works. It does. The Lord said the gates of hell shall not prevail. It's because of his grace. But a lot of men go down just with lies. The link is in, I put the link in the description, right? Anybody come up here and show me where I lied to try to deceive somebody. Put it up. Come up here. Go call somebody who lied to you about me and tell them, come on, let's deal with it. Because I'm only for the unity of the Spirit of Christ. I'm only for the brotherhood. I'm only for the gathering of the saints. I'm only for the assembly of the righteous. I'm only for being born again, being converted by love. Let us all serve one another. I've always been a brother, not seeking his own wealth, but the wealth of another. That's been on my resume. I've never been a brother that coveted any man's silver or any man's gold or any man's apparel. Never been there. Never wanted the limelight. Never been there. Never been there. That ain't something I have to wash from, that stuff. Oh, no. Stealing from people and being a confidence man, gaining people's trust in order to get my hand in their money. Never been that brother, ever. You ain't catching no money scandals with me, period. Even from my carnal days, you can forget it. When I got on, my brotherhood got on. When I got the job, listen, come on, we working over here. Let's get out of here. Come on. Listen, I'm going to get you on the job. I'm going to get you on. I'm going to tell you exactly what the date to say. I'm going to tell you when to come. I'm going to tell you exactly who to speak to. I'm eating, you eat. I was like that in the flesh. I had those intangible things, which is natural affection, which a lot of you have. But bearing false witness is a tactic. That's what scatters sheep. Let me see something here. Truth to the power, Brother Quatazar. The lie is not about where you are, but it's about where you're going to be. The lie is always about the future. The lie is always about the future. And a lot of people, they lie to, but they don't even care they lie to. They'll just repeat it. I'm going to show you, okay, we look right here. They quoted them out of context. Why did they say this? And why did they say that? This fellow said, I am able to destroy the temple of God and build it in 3 days. Why? Because it would enrage the people. So what has been said to you that enraged you and you saw that you were manipulated? Leave the comment. What did somebody say to you to enrage you against a person that didn't do no wrong to you, but the immediate response was anger and disdain? Because remember, Paul said they made the hearts of the people evilly affected against the brethren. And brothers and sisters, most people, once their heart is evilly affected, they don't even become healed. They don't become healed. That discord continues to lifetime dissonance. Is that serious? Yes, it does. Okay. So I want to put this part right here. They're quoting him out of context. We saw false witnesses that rise up. They laid to my charge things that I knew not. I didn't say that. But a false witness shall not go unpunished. And he that speaketh lies shall not escape. There's a time coming for y'all. We're going to go. Bearing false witness is the ultimate attack against what? Against integrity. What does it do? That's why our action, we must be in a commitment to truth telling and protecting the reputations of those in the community. Why does it let them be counted worthy of double honor who labor in the word and doctrine? There's a lot of guys that copied other people's notes and they're just cosplaying and they're counterfeits. There's men that come on these classes for years. They'll listen. If you listen to what they say, they'll listen to a class here, and the next week they preaching on it. They're not gonna say that they learning from here and they spreading it. No, they're gonna act like, well, the Most High said, or I'm speaking by the Spirit of Yahweh Bahashum, and Jesus said, and the Spirit said. They all lying. They stealing because certain things only come from relationship. And they know that they're not in a relationship. So what they're doing, they're stealing from people who are in relationship. But there's going to be accountability for everything you know. Let's look. So, bearing false witness destroys reputations, divides communities, causes incalculable harm, often leads to severe, lasting distress. And that's what many people are suffering from, severe, lasting distress. Mm-hmm. What happened in the conscious community? Severe, lasting distress. What happened with that fake priest? The fake priest, talking about he was a chief priest. What happened to him? Severe, lasting distrust. How his wife exposed him in all his lewd and lascivious behavior. Severe, lasting distrust. And what they'll do, they'll project their character onto other people. And now the people are divided. You see? Okay. So bearing false witness is not a small thing. It destroys reputation. It divides communities. It causes incalculable harm. And that's what they did to Stephen. Remember, we're going to go to Stephen and show you what they did. That's what they were trying to do to Susanna. That's what they did to the boat. So this is a weapon that Satan uses. And a lot of wicked men, they use this. And look, you're going to be marked. And the people supposed to mark you. And when the people see you devour lives and you lied on that person, man, what you said wasn't true. They're supposed to, we're supposed to fulfill our godly obligation and let the truth be told and not let false narratives go on. Oh, okay, I'll catch up with you in Inspiring Faith. Yeah. So let me review this. Bearing false witness is a deliberate act. So when Exodus 20 verse 16, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Let's look at it closer. Let's increase in knowledge. Let's learn. Bearing false witness is not just simply lying. It is the deliberate act of presenting untrue, distorted, exaggerated, or misleading testimony. It's a deliberate act. to pull the wool over a person's eyes. Straight up gaslighting them. Real slander. This is a work of darkness. Bearing false witness is a deliberate act of presenting untrue, distorted, exaggerated, or misleading testimony. So when David said false witnesses did rise up, they laid to my charge things that I knew not. So they lying on David, right? They lying on him. Here's why. They rewarded me evil for good, caught him unexpected, blindsided him to the spoiling of his soul. So when somebody's bearing false witness, they're trying to destroy another person's soul. And we're the saints. We're the holy men. We're the holy women that stands up against this type of perversion, that stands up against these type of deployed weapons of Satan. Bearing false witness is a deliberate act of presenting untrue, distorted, exaggerated, or misleading testimony.